Hey mama, if you're pregnant and dreaming of a birth you absolutely love, you can grab the My Essential Birth course for only $197 with our extended Black Friday offer through December 7th. This course walks you step by step through how to prepare your mind, body, and birth partner for a smoother labor, fewer interventions, less fear, and a birth that you can't wait to share. Plus, you'll get exclusive bonuses like the birth affirmation cards, our belly mapping guide, and a powerful labor meditation to help you stay grounded when it matters most. Head to myessentialbirth.com/Black Friday and get started preparing for a birth you love.
After about an hour, Zach thought, well, I've been timing the contractions. They're like a minute apart for an hour. And I was like, oh, okay. Makes sense that we should probably call the hospital now. And she heard me in the background screaming and she was like, yeah, it does sound like it's time to come in. And I was like, oh, great. I thought I was going to be here for another few hours. So he quickly kind of packed the car. And so I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get into the car because we'll get into the car, but also have this experience in the car. I'm so just in the groove of what I'm doing. And so stood up, had kind of a contraction leaning on him and thought this is going to be 10 contractions just to get to the front door, leaning on you, and reached down and felt my baby's head.
Getting pregnant and giving birth are two of the most exciting things you can ever hope to experience in this life. The moment you think you could be pregnant, you're frantically searching for all the best information, which is why you're here today. I'm Stephanie King, and with my many years of experience as a professional childbirth educator, doula, and lover of all things pregnancy, birth, and postpartum, I'm here to make preparing for your birth enjoyable, empowering, and totally easy. Each week, I'll cover different topics, interview professionals, and get into the nitty-gritty birth stories from mamas just like you. And when you're ready for more, you can join me in the My Essential Birth course at myessentialbirth.com, where I take you step by step through exactly how to prepare your mind, body, spirit, and partner for a birth you love. So let's get started. Welcome back to the podcast this week. I have another birth story for you guys. We have another My Essential Birth Mama Karlen, and she's here with us to tell us all about her story. And with that, Karlen, will you say hi to everybody and tell us a little bit about you and your family?
Sounds good. Hi, everyone. I'm Karlen. I am Canadian, but I'm currently living in Australia. My husband is Australian, and we've lived here for about 7 years. And have been married for about 8 years. And we have one beautiful son, Archie, who's 18 months. And we love being outside, going to the beach. And I'm also a clinical psychologist and have my own practice and enjoy doing mental health research.
Oh, that's really neat. I didn't know that side of it. I feel like, can I ask you a little bit about how that played a part in kind of your mindset or how you prepared for pregnancy?
Yeah, I think it definitely helped me. I'm often in situations that are unknown to me, whoever's going to be walking through the room, and I guess comfortable with uncomfortable situations. So I think that really helped me. We'll get into obviously the birth, but just being kind of present in the moment and being mindful and just embracing whatever's happening at the time.
I like that. Remind me if I don't remember. I want to circle back to that kind of towards the end of our conversation because I feel like I want to pull that in at the end and I want to give you an opportunity to give some moms some advice on what they can do to prepare with their mindset, like with having that background. I absolutely love that you have that. That's so neat. Okay, well, let's start with your pregnancy. Tell me a little bit about your pregnancy. Was it pretty textbook? Was there anything that stands out to you?
For the most part, it was pretty textbook. We had been trying for Archie for a year, so we were very excited to find out that we were pregnant. I was nauseous in the first trimester, but I was still able to kind of work and get through things, just eating pretzels and electrolytes and things like that. Then second trimester was great. I started having some pelvic pain in the third trimester. And then around 30 weeks, I was getting really itchy. And I would tell my friends who had been pregnant in the past, and they'd say, oh, yeah, your skin's stretching. I was itchy too. I called a midwife hotline in Australia, and the person was like, oh, yeah, it's normal to be itchy in pregnancy. So I was like, okay. But it went on, and I was like, I'm really itchy. I can't sleep at night. This is really uncomfortable. So I went to the GP, told my midwives, and they were like, we need to do a blood test. You might have cholestasis. Yes, and I had never heard of cholestasis before anyways, so it was diagnosed with that at 33 weeks. So that was kind of put me at higher risk in my pregnancy.
Can you talk about cholestasis for a moment and just tell listeners what that is and how it affected your pregnancy?
Yeah, so it's when bile acids from your liver get released into the bloodstream, and then there's a higher risk to your baby. Um, so some babies come early, and there's not too much. I guess there's so much variability in people's experiences that there's not kind of a, probably as most things with pregnancy or birth, not a, if this happens, we definitely have to do this. So the doctor kind of left it up to us to make a decision. So we ultimately kind of read the research, got as informed as we could, and decided to get induced at 38 weeks because of the risk to the baby, especially if you went to 40 weeks based on what we understood about it. But my symptoms were really just that I was extremely itchy. So I started taking medication for it, and that symptom disappeared. I was reluctant to take the medication because I had been pretty natural throughout my pregnancy, kind of hadn't taken anything for nausea but I thought I can't go on for another month or so with this itchiness. So.
All right. And how about your providers? Tell us a little bit about that. And I'm curious to hear about birth in Australia. What's it like? What's the healthcare system like, or what is it like for you to give birth? Do you have options of all different kinds of providers? And what did you end up choosing?
Yeah, there are several options. So it's probably somewhat similar to Canada in the sense that there's a public healthcare system. But you could choose to have a private midwife and have a home birth. Or you could choose to go to a private hospital and get like an obstetrician. But I went the public route. And so they kind of do like a risk assessment, so to speak, for pregnancy in your initial appointment to see, do you need to see the obstetrician, or can you go into like a midwife group practice sort of thing? So because I was low risk at the beginning, they put me into the midwife group. And essentially there was kind of 3 midwives that you would see every appointment. I kind of saw the same one every appointment, which was really nice to have that continuity of care. But it obviously wasn't guaranteed that she would be at the birth. But it was nice to have, especially when I was diagnosed with cholestasis, she was kind of there each appointment, and that was really nice. But yeah, I kind of chose that mostly because it was the public system. I would have liked to have a home birth, but it was a private cost. And my husband and I kind of talked about it, and we were a bit anxious because it was our first, and we knew lots of people who had done the midwife group practice. We live in kind of a smaller town, so you do get a lot more one-on-one attention than in, say, Sydney, the bigger city that's close to us. It is quite women-centered, women-led. There's a birth pool there and things like that. So we thought, we had a tour, and we thought this seems right for us for our first baby. So, I mean, we'll get into it. Didn't end up getting there, but
Sure.
it seemed like a good decision for us. Yeah.
Yeah. And how many weeks did you say you were diagnosed at 30 weeks?
33.
33. So is that when you switched providers at that time?
So yeah, then they got us to, we would still meet with the midwives, but then we also sometimes met with the obstetrician, especially to make decisions about the induction, or for her to like look at the blood, because I had to have blood tests like once or twice a week, and they did more monitoring and things. So
tell me about your birth partner, your husband. What was he doing during pregnancy and stuff? Was he coming to the appointments with you? Were there things that you guys were working on together or communicating about as things were going on? What was that like for you?
yeah, he was extremely supportive, as he just is generally. He came to almost all the appointments with me, was extremely supportive, especially when I got diagnosed with cholestasis. And we kind of, he knew all about my birth plan. I sent him all the podcasts that I was listening to, especially the ones with dads, or the ones about what he could kind of be doing to support me, or different kind of methods to support women in labor. So yeah, he was absolutely fantastic.
Hey mama, quick pause. If you're feeling stressed trying to figure out birth on your own, scared of the pain, or unsure of what to expect, you're not meant to do this alone. With the My Essential Birth course, I'll walk you step by step through a proven framework that has literally helped thousands of women have a birth that they rave about. Right now, with our extended Black Friday offer, you can get it for just $197 through December 7th. Plus, you'll get exclusive bonuses like affirmation cards, a belly mapping guide, and a labor meditation to help you feel confident, calm, and in control when you need it most. Head to myessentialbirth.com/Black Friday before December 7th. It's time to have a birth you love. That's great. How about preparation? Were there things, so you took the birth course, obviously. I'd love to hear what you were utilizing in there that you thought was really helpful or that you kind of took with you into that, and how you and your husband were working together to prepare your body and mind for birth. And that can be before and after, kind of how that changed once you got that diagnosis.
Yeah, so I did quite a lot to prepare. I think I'm kind of a perfectionist sort of personality. So I thought once I decided I wanted to aim for an unmedicated birth, I thought I want to do everything that I can to possibly get there. So in the first trimester, didn't do too much, wasn't feeling the best. So tried to just do some kind of gentle yoga, stretching. And then kind of come the second trimester, really kept exercising, doing yoga, stretching. Probably found the podcast. A friend sent it to me around 16 weeks pregnant. So then I started doing the 3 exercises, found other exercises to do to really help with kind of internal rotation, and did a lot of relaxation and kind of meditations, especially before bed. Maybe 2 or 3 times a week, I would, right before bed, just smell lavender, my essential oil, listen to the meditation, and really just try to relax my body, which I think, I mean, going into the birth story was probably one of the most helpful things, because I think my body remembered doing that and it really helped with relaxing. Yeah, took a birth course, listened to so many positive birth stories, which was also, I think, one of the most helpful things, just to get me in the mindset of other mamas have done this. It'll be good. So also saw a pelvic floor physio.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So one of my friends had recommended it, and that was also extremely beneficial. I think she helped me learn how to push, just, I think, learn my body a bit more. And my husband, Zach, and I went to one appointment with her together, and she ended up kind of guiding him with different kind of hands-on methods with what he could do to support me. A lot of it we didn't really use, but I think it was just super helpful, especially for him to know that he could do things to help me have things in his toolbox. And when I'm kind of in pain and overwhelmed, that he knew that he could like suggest things and say, why don't we try this? Or
Yeah, I think men love having tools that they can use, for anything.
yeah,
So yeah, that's wonderful.
definitely.
And talking
Yeah.
about the relaxation, that alone, you practicing relaxation every night and using essential oils and calming your body. I'm really glad you said that, because I think that alone can be so helpful for every single woman coming up to birth, because it's not just about, I mean, it definitely is beneficial to relax your body and get out of the way of your contractions and all of that. But there's, mental work that happens during that time. There's learning to breathe that happens during that time. There's the muscle memory that happens. So I love that. I love that you were able to do that. How about we walk through then? Okay, so what happened coming up to that 38 weeks? And what conversations were you having with your providers? Was there more testing and stuff? And why did you choose to go the induction route at 38 weeks? Can we go through that real quick?
Yeah. So I guess just, yeah, based on the risk to the baby, we thought, of course, I would love to go to 40 weeks or beyond and have kind of a natural, unmedicated, spontaneous birth. But we kind of just weighed up the option, and we thought, if there's any risk to the baby, I'm willing to let go of my dream of having this kind of, in my mind, perfect unmedicated birth, because I just want my baby to be safe. And yeah, probably being our first baby, we're extremely anxious. And yeah, it was a lot to sit with, because I had done all this prep for so many months of dreaming about kind of spontaneous unmedicated birth. But we just felt it was the right decision, and we didn't want to have the risk. So the obstetrician recommended 38 or 39 weeks based on the research. And we kind of, for similar reasons, we're just like, why would we push another week if we are worried about our baby? So we decided on that. But so my parents came out from Canada. So it was nice to have them there and to know that we had the induction date. So otherwise they would have missed the birth. So it was good that they came out. And but at the same time, I thought, I mean, full term is 37 weeks. Like, let's try to do something to get this going. So started the dates probably around 38 or 34 weeks. The red raspberry leaf tea, still kind of trying to be as fit as I could, being kind of in the later stages of pregnancy, and just praying as well, just that, I mean, the baby would come healthily, not necessarily that it would be a spontaneous birth. But I had a pregnancy massage at 36 weeks, which I think also probably helped my body to relax, and I went on maternity leave that week as well. So maybe my body was kind of like, now it's time. I'm kind of resting.
Okay, so let's talk about the induction. What that was like, kind of. Since you're talking about, I wanted this unmedicated experience and, something like that. Were there things that you discussed with your provider that, I know this is an induction, but these things are still really important to me? Or did you guys have a discussion about what it would look like and kind of you knew what to expect and what you wanted out of that?
Yes, we did. I mean, it was kind of hard because we were kind of like, it felt kind of between providers, because sometimes we would meet with the obstetrician and sometimes with the midwives. So they would kind of, some people were like really great at sitting with us and being like, we know you're anxious. We know this isn't what you wanted. And some people would just be like, yep, you'll come in on this day and this is what the induction is going to look like. So,
right.
But yeah, I was 37 weeks and 1 day and went into spontaneous labor. So it was quite different than we kind of all had the plan of the baby's going to be born 15th of February. And yeah, on the 8th of February, it was like, oh, maybe the induction's not going to happen. So yeah.
That's so neat. So that's perfect place. Let's get started right there.
Okay. So yeah, I woke up on the 8th of February. This was in 2024, and just had some mild cramps and was like, this has happened other mornings. Didn't think anything of it. Our dog had been really sick and she had a surgery scheduled that day to see if she had cancer. So I took her to the vet. It was pretty emotional. I think she was our baby, our only baby at the time. So we were pretty worried about her. So dropped her off and thought I'll just do some errands to kind of distract myself. And so I was in the middle of doing some errands, and like pretty quickly after, the vet called and said, there's no cancer. You can pick her up. She's absolutely fine. And I think my body must have just had like an oxytocin rush of just like, my baby's okay. It's all going to be okay. We don't have to worry about her being in some sort of cancer surgery next week when we have the induction. Or I think it just really settled me that like this aspect of life was kind of taken care of. So I went to pick her up, went home, kind of was just hanging out with my parents, still kind of the mild cramps, but didn't think too much of it. And then went to the bathroom and I thought, maybe that's my bloody show, just like a little, or a mucus plug. Yeah, just a bit of discharge. And so then around probably 11 a.m., I thought, still, the cramps are continuing. Usually they would have been gone by now. Maybe this is it. I think maybe it got a bit more intense, but still was able to kind of just go about my day normally. So I called Zach and said, like, just stay at work for the day, but like, I think this could be it. And my mom was kind of like, yeah, I think this is it. This is going to be it. And so we had a midwife appointment scheduled for 3 p.m. that day. So I called the midwives as well and said, look, I have an appointment. Do you still want me to come in? Because I might be in labor. And they were like, oh yeah, definitely still come in. So then, yeah, around kind of 12, had lunch. My mom made me lunch. My mother-in-law came over. It was kind of a nice time just for us to be together. And my dad was like, let's time the contractions. Like, this is it. Let's time the contractions. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, Dad, like, it kind of just felt either like nothing was happening or it was just like a blur of contraction. Like it was like, it's just kind of cramping. Like it's not anything that can be timed. And it was kind of off-putting to me. So I said, Dad, like that we're not going to time it. And so then I had kind of a shower and was just like, I just felt like being alone. I just didn't want to kind of keep talking. I just thought, if this is it, I kind of want to start getting in the zone. And I think my personality as well, I kind of go insular and I'm quite independent. So I just thought, oh, I'm just going to go to my room. I'll do maybe some of the mile circuit before Zach comes home and brings me to the midwife appointment. So like, it was a bit more intense then, but like, it was just kind of nice, relaxing and going through those exercises. And then Zach came home, jumped in the car. Still was like, it felt like I needed to focus on the contractions a bit more, but wasn't like I was still able to laugh and talk between them. And there was no kind of rhythm to them still. We didn't time them or do anything like that. And we got to the midwife appointment and I kind of told her what was going on. And she felt my stomach and it was like, oh, it's going to get a lot worse than this. I'm sorry to say, like it will probably just fizzle out, but like maybe you'll be in later tonight. And she said, I just recommend going home and getting a really early night and going to bed, relaxing, seeing what happens. So it was a pretty quick appointment in that kind of regard because, yeah, she didn't check me or anything. I kind of wanted to be checked because I was like, it feels like this is heading in a direction. But I also kind of knew that it can go from 0 to 100. Like if I'm 1 centimeter or 5 centimeters, it's not going to necessarily, it doesn't have any indication of what it could be like. So yeah, went home and was kind of like, okay, it's getting a bit more intense. I said to Zach, I feel like already a bit uncomfortable just sitting in the front seat, like in the passenger seat of the car. Why don't we take the truck when we go to the hospital? So at least I can lie down in the back seat, because if it's going to be, like if I'm obviously going to be more uncomfortable than this, I don't think I'm going to be wanting to sit in the passenger seat, because we were just going to take my little car, which obviously had the car seat in the back and things. So I was very grateful in the end that I chose that decision to bring the truck. So yeah, I got home. We asked my parents to go to a hotel, which had been the plan for the induction or whatever way I went into labor, because I just wanted it to be Zach and I. And so they headed off, and this was probably around 4 p.m. So I said, I'll just have like a snack. Let's just like watch some TV. I'll just sit on the birth ball. And we got probably through like 10 minutes of a Friends episode. And I was just like, I think I ate my muffin, but I was just like, I'm just uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to be sitting on my birth ball right now. And I said, well, if the midwife said, like, let's like try to get as much rest as you can, try to take a nap. I'm like, I really don't see myself lasting to like my normal bedtime of, I don't know, 9:30. So I was like, maybe let's just try to like, at least I'll try to have a nap now or try to have an early night now. So went to lay in my bed and things started to pick up more. And then around, I think I was just like laying on my side trying to nap. Zach was just there, I think, holding my hand. But it was just uncomfortable. And then around 5:30, I noticed like water gushing. And I was like, oh, I'm guessing that's my water's breaking. But I've never done this before. I don't know. There's no health professional here or a doula or anything. So yeah, went to the toilet. But it had like a orangey red kind of bloody color. So I thought, well, it doesn't seem like that would be my mucus plug or like a bloody show, but maybe that's it. I think deep down I knew it was my waters that broke, but I was like, the hospital protocol is that they're going to send us back to the hospital. Likely they're going to send us away again, because I'm not like, I mean, we were just there. They sent me away. So we did phone the midwives to let them know what had happened. They were like, oh yeah, it probably is just your bloody show. Like, why don't you just keep doing what you're doing? And I was like, okay, good. I don't have to go back in the car, right. go talk to them and come back. I mean, given what happened, maybe we should have went then, but I mean, we were grateful that we stayed, and I think it did really help me to relax. So just put on like one of those disposable diaper sort of things, and just, I thought, well, okay, it's getting more uncomfortable now. Maybe we should try to do some of these like positions that we've learned through the course and through our pelvic floor physio and things. So did a couple of those like with the birth ball and kind of on hands and knees. And I was just like, like, I wasn't in like excruciating pain, but I was just like, I'm just like really uncomfortable. Like, I felt way better just laying in my bed. So I was like, I guess that's like just what I should do, like just listen to my body and just go back into the bed. And then things really started to get intense. Like, as soon as I laid down again, it was like, this is labor. Like, then the contractions finally started getting like a rhythm of like, it was clear when it ended, it was clear when it started, mostly because I was started to scream. Like, when they happened, I was like, this, it went from like being uncomfortable to like, this is painful. And so I just laid on my side and just imagined my baby coming down, like visualized that. During the contraction, it was more just like screaming and trying to just get through it. But then in between, it was just, yeah, really trying to relax, just trying to make my body like super floppy. Yeah, just trying to tell myself like I could do it. Yeah, visualizing the baby going down, and Zach was there kind of with his hand on me. Just felt as relaxed as I could in between the contractions, I think, as possible. Which, I mean, going back to, it was the exact same position that I was doing all those birth meditations, smelling my lavender. I didn't have that with me, the essential oil at the time, but I think just that muscle memory would have really helped. And just being probably in the comfort of my own home. So that lasted for about an hour, and it was like, this is intense. And I was kind of in my mind, like, I kind of need to stay at home as long as possible, because if I get to the hospital, I'm going to want medication. Like, I don't think I can do this for that much longer. Like, this is like a high level of intensity that kind of seemed to come on relatively quickly in my mind. But I was like, again, I've never done this before. I've known moms who've been in labor for a few days, or my mom had a longer labor. Like, I was like, I understand why people say like it's labor, like it's intense. So I was kind of like, I'll stay here for as long as possible. And I think just had gone into that kind of mode of laboring and wasn't necessarily thinking like, maybe we should leave for the hospital now, or Zach, what do you think about, like, I wasn't like in the mode of like, let's have a conversation. I was just like, let's just
Focus.
bear down and like get through this. So after about an hour, Zach thought, well, I've been timing the contractions. They're like a minute apart for an hour. So, and I was like, oh, okay. It makes sense that we should probably call the hospital now.
Yeah.
And she heard me in the background screaming, and she was like, yeah, it does sound like it's time to come in. And I was like, oh, great. Like, I thought I was going to be here for another few hours. So he quickly kind of packed the car. And so I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get into the car, because this is, we'll get into the car, but also like have this experience in the car. Like, I'm so just in the groove of what I'm doing. And so stood up, had kind of a contraction leaning on him, and thought this is going to be like 10 contractions just to get to the front door, leaning on you, and felt, reached down and felt my baby's head, and was like, how did this happen in like what felt like an hour's time? Like, I know I'd been in labor kind of all day, but it didn't seem like it, like I was sent away from the hospital. Like, so I was like, Zach, like, I feel the baby's head. And he was like, we need to get in the car now. And I was just similar. I think maybe if I was in, I don't know, my right mind, might have just said, let's just like call an ambulance and stay here. Like, we're pretty set up at this moment. But I think I was just like, okay. Like, I think we were both just shocked. So we were like, yeah, let's get in the car. And he confirmed that he could see the head, and yeah, hopped in the back seat. Which the midwife said after, like, how did you even walk to the car? I was like, I don't know. I was just in a fight flight mode, probably. I'm just like, this is happening. Called the midwife when we got in the car. I mean, our house is 15-minute drive from the hospital. So Zach was, I think, in the mindset of just, we could get there in 10 minutes if we sped. Like, let's just get there. And we've found the midwife, and she's like, you need to pull over right now. We were like a minute away from home, and I'm thinking, well, great. Like, she was like, the birth is imminent. And I was thinking, well, this is fantastic. Like, it's going to end soon, but also probably should have just stayed at home. But it's a good story. And so, yeah, pulled to the side of the road. the midwife called the ambulance. And at this point, part of why she said the birth was imminent is that my contractions had stopped, which I was like, this is great. I thought that being in the car was going to be so hard. But she's like, no, contractions stop to prepare you for pushing. And I was like, oh, yeah, they do. So she said, I mean, she was mostly talking to Zach on the phone. It was on speaker, but she was kind of explaining how the baby was going to come out to kind of move him and make sure that his shoulders and his head came out and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know exactly what she was saying because I was just like, wow, I'm about to have my baby in the backseat of my husband's car. But also just so happy that it was going to happen and that it was going to be over soon. And she said to do like the quick breaths, like, and I was like, no part of me wants to do that. I think she wanted to like delay so that the ambulance, like the paramedics could get there. But I was just like, I can feel now that my baby is coming. Like, I appreciate your advice, but I mean, obviously we've done it this far, the two of us. So I just said, like, my baby's coming. And I said, Zach, it's coming now. And gave one push. And then I think the midwife was kind of like, if the baby comes out and it's not breathing, this is what you need to do. Make sure that you kind of rub it on its back vigorously. And at that point, I think we both were like, okay, maybe this is not going to be the best situation. Like, maybe this is going to be scary. What if something goes wrong? But overall, the feeling between us, I mean, we're pretty good communicators. We have a pretty good relationship. It was quite peaceful. It was quite calm. We really felt like this is a beautiful, sacred moment that our son's going to be born, just the two of us. And thankfully, I mean, in a way, it did happen so quick. It wasn't like it was an hour of pushing in the back of the car. So yeah, I gave one push. And then I think I was kind of like, if there is something wrong with the umbilical cord or breathing, in my mind, I was just like, I just need to get this out quickly. So gave another big push and he came out. He started crying. That cat caught him and put him on my chest. And yeah, it was a beautiful moment.
Oh,
just
that's so
to be just the three of us. And yeah, by the time we called the midwife to the time he was born, I think the whole phone call was about 14 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he was born 8:14 p.m. So only about 5 hours earlier, we were sent away from the hospital. So certainly not what we thought for our first birth and not what we thought for a birth that was planned to be an induction and a bit higher risk. Yeah, it was just beautiful. And the paramedics arrived a few minutes later and confirmed that everything was okay. And they I mean, it was two men, but they were really beautiful in the way that they handled the situation. And I think they were overwhelmed and delighted that it was all safe and that they could meet a newborn baby. And yeah, it was really special.
That's so neat. I'm curious because I am visualizing everything that you were talking about. So with you in the back seat of the truck, were you in hands and knees? Did you decide to lay down on your back? Like, what position were you in when baby was finally coming? And then where was your husband? Did you have like the door open and he was just standing there on the side of the road? Like, what was this like? Help us walk through the visual of this.
Yeah. So I was laying on my side because I thought that will be the most comfortable. One of my contractions were going to be like that all the way. I thought, well, that's what I was doing in the bed, so I'm going to keep doing that. So I couldn't even remember, but Zach said, no, you gave birth on your side in that same position. I was like, oh, okay, because I didn't know if I had moved to my back by then, but no. So I was on my side, and he had come around. So, I mean, he was like in kind of the ditch, I guess, or the curb with the door open, and he was just standing there. And
that's so neat.
Yeah.
So neat. Did you happen to, I am also thinking of like all the dads that might listen to this and like, what happened to the truck, right? Like, did you guys have anything down? Was it just like, it just was what it was? Like, what was that like?
What it was, because we weren't, it wasn't like, we might give birth in the car on the way. So let's pack a tarp and towels and
right.
So we had to get it professionally cleaned. And lots of friends still tease us about Archie being born in the back of the Ford Ranger.
Right?
Yeah.
That's so neat. I absolutely love that. What a neat story. So did you guys go to the hospital? Like, did you go in the ambulance to the hospital or that was what happened? Oh, that's
so Zach followed in the truck because the ambos were kind of like, or the paramedics, here's my Aussie lingo, were like, oh, you you can come in the ambulance, but like we did the delayed cord camping. He cut the umbilical cord in the back of the ambulance. He was kind of like, you're welcome to come, but you might want to bring all of your stuff in your own car to the hospital. And we were like, it's like a 15-minute drive. I'm fine, just enjoying time with our new son, and I feel comfortable. So yeah, went there. I guess that was another part of the birth that we both, well, we didn't know the gender. So we were both
special.
thought we were having a girl for whatever reason. And we were both quite surprised and delighted that, yeah, it was a little boy. And that was, I think, special too, just to be the three of us to find out and have that moment together. Yeah. But yeah, drove to the hospital. They kind of took me up to the midwives, and they asked if they could take Archie kind of straight away. I mean, I kind of thought, I've had, I don't know, probably half an hour with him at this point. I'm happy for you to just make sure that he is safe and okay, especially based on what happened. He was, the paramedic said, kind of, I don't know, pale, I guess, in the ambulance. Like all his color hadn't come in, because it was summer here in February, but it was like a cooler night, and not probably the temperature that a hospital room would have been. So I think he was a bit cold. So they said his color was kind of coming back in the hospital. But yeah, otherwise he was totally fine. And yeah, then Zach got there, and I did have a 2nd-degree tear. So they ended up stitching me. I mean, maybe just based on how quickly he came, or maybe because of that second push that I just thought I have to get him out. I'm not sure. I mean, I know it's also somewhat common for first-time mums. Archie was quite puffy. I think also probably because of the quick descent. But yeah, it was all good. Had our first little breastfeed, and yeah, it was really special.
So when you got to the hospital and they checked you in, how long did you guys end up staying? And did you get the breastfeeding help and everything? Were you like in and out pretty quick? What was that like for you coming with the paramedics?
Yeah, we did end up staying quite a long time. I think 3 nights, which I think they just weren't as busy because it is kind of a smaller area where we live, which we were quite grateful for. I was having a lot of difficulty breastfeeding. I did for the first probably 6 weeks. It was painful, and I thought we had done like a breastfeeding course and stuff. So I felt like I really want to do this. I feel like I have the tools, but I think just his latch just never, until he got a bit bigger. And he was a bigger baby. Like he was 8 pounds, born at 37 weeks. So he needed a lot of milk.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of breastfeeding. So that was mostly the reason that I wanted to stay. But I mean, I think at the hospital, it's a bit hard because every midwife came in and has a different opinion. And I mean, it's your first baby. You're kind of overwhelmed. Looking back, I'm like, I probably might have just gone home and hired maybe a lactation consultant straight away just to help me with kind of those techniques. But yeah, we were happy to stay, and they gave us great care, and our family and friends were able to visit us there. So
that's wonderful. Since you're talking a little bit about breastfeeding, and you said the first 6 weeks were kind of painful, was there anything that you did to get help for that, or that helped you along the way that you think other moms would really benefit from hearing?
It's a good question. I mean, we did end up getting a lactation consultant come in at around 2 weeks, when he was 2 weeks. We did try a lot of positions and stuff, but I think it was hard because my parents were around, and I kind of felt like I can't just walk around with my shirt off all day. And we were kind of going out like to restaurants and things. I thought, well, I kind of have to have, I mean, I've never done this before, not really comfortable breastfeeding. As much as in Australia, the kind of culture is quite open to breastfeeding in public, I still kind of had a cover on. And so I think that didn't help, in the sense that I couldn't really be as free and kind of see what the latch was all the time. And I think, yeah, my recommendation would be probably, yeah, try to have your shirt off as much as possible. Make sure the latch is good, because that's what's going to really help. But I think it was just him getting bigger over time. I mean, even after the lactation consultant came, I guess we felt a bit more supported, but there were still times that it was like, oh, the latch isn't good. But I mean, they're newborns, so like just learning how to feed. And so you're like, oh, do I take you off just for you to kind of go back on and for it to be painful again? So sometimes, yeah, I would just leave him and just think I'm just going to get through this. Yeah, I think if you want to breastfeed, it's a beautiful experience, and just really try to, yeah, get that support and have your mindset of like it's not going to be painful forever. I've only just recently finished breastfeeding Archie, so he was breastfed till 18 months, and I'm so glad that I persevered. It was a beautiful experience.
Looking back on the birth, how do you feel about it? Because now, you've had some time and you can look back, and what are your thoughts on that experience? And also, too, I think I'd be curious, what do you think went so well? Like, what was it about your preparation or thought process, or what do you think made it go so smoothly, too?
Yeah, I look back on the birth. I mean, you can probably tell the emotion that comes up, like just so fondly, just that I got to have my spontaneous, unmedicated birth. Proud of myself that I could do it, especially with no um, kind of health professional around, and that it was just my husband and I. And yeah, it was just one of the most beautiful moments of my life that we were able to be there together. Of course, had the thought in the moment of it would have been nice if we were in the hospital or maybe even at home, but it was like, wow, this is how God's planned for us to meet our baby. And I'm so grateful. Yeah, I'm really grateful to look back on the experience, and excited to give birth again in the future. And yeah, no part of me is like, oh, yeah, people when we got to the hospital were like, oh, are you okay? The staff, I think, thought I might be kind of traumatized, and even days later were like, are you still okay? And I was like, I, I'm so okay. Like I'm more than okay. Like it was an amazing experience.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's very common for people to be concerned about because with it not being in the location that you expected and it being so quick and all of that. So I love that it was a beautiful experience for you and your family. And I mean, how many people really get to say that? Even just that we got to do this by ourselves, but then to have the whole, I mean, that's a fun story. Back of the truck,
Yeah.
side of the, street, and oh, it's so neat. So that's so wonderful. I love to end these episodes with your best advice for moms and best advice for dads. So if you could kind of sum up your thoughts on that. And actually, so I don't forget, right before you give me the answer to those questions, tell me a little bit about your mindset and your background and how that played a part as you walked through that experience. Do you think like your mind prepare, like I just want to know because you've got that
Yeah.
background. I think it's so interesting and special. So yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, since I've said like my birth story to other people, have been like, oh, well, you're a psychologist. Like, makes sense that you're calm in the moment. I mean, I don't think that's a necessarily equal thing, but I think it did help in, yeah, both being comfortable with those uncomfortable situations, meeting new clients all the time and not knowing what it's going to be like, but also, yeah, having those strategies, being pretty aware of my own emotions, and going through psychological counseling myself. I think it really did help me with my mindset of like, even when it was the induction, it was like, what will be. And like, I can just be present with my emotion. I can be sad. I can be angry if I'm going to have an induction and not have the birth that I wanted. And similar, probably in the back of the car, or when the pain was that high in the bed, like I'm just trying to be present with what's going on right now. And I think in the car that really helped Zach and I, just to be like, we could be overwhelmed, we could be panicking, we could be angry. Like, why did we get in the car? But it was like, this is what's happening. And let's be present with our emotions of this is scary, this is overwhelming, but it's also so beautiful that our son's coming into the world right now. Um, so I think in that way, the relaxation of the being present with what's going on for you and your body really helped. And those, I mean, I was kind of more familiar, I guess, with meditations or relaxation exercises in terms of the pregnancy preparation, which I think maybe, I mean, anyone can look up those on YouTube or anything, but maybe it helped that I'd done lots of that sort of stuff before.
Yeah, I think that kind of stuff is really, really helpful. Like I think you don't realize the weight of it until you go through labor and then you're like, wow, I was able to calm myself. I was able to, be more in tune with my body. So, I mean, not even thinking about just the mental part of it, but it does have a full effect on mom's body. So that's very true. All right. So tell me, give me your best advice for moms, best advice for dads.
Yeah, I think the best advice for mums really flows on from what I was just talking about in terms of my advice would be just try to be as present and aware of your body and your emotions as you can, whether that's, having counseling or psychological support or just talking through with your friends or doing relaxation exercises. I mean, I can think even in pregnancy, like at one point I got COVID in pregnancy and was like, well, I'm not going to be able to do my exercises this week. And it's okay. Like my body needs rest this week. Or when I got diagnosed with cholestasis or like leading up to it was like something in me is just like, this isn't right. This isn't right. I think I need to go to the doctor to get a blood test or see what they have to say. So just like being aware of those things, or like in labor when it was like, I'm pretty sure that was my waters that broke. Like just listening to your body in those cues, or when I was trying to do all these exercises that I'd practiced, but thought, I'm just getting back in the bed. Like that just feels intuitively right to me. So I mean, maybe I would have been able to do those things without the prep. It's kind of hard to know, but I think if you can, as much as possible, get in tune with your own body, in tune with your own emotions, it will help you be present and to know what to do in labor. In terms of for dads, I think just be as supportive as your wife or your partner as you can be to learn what their birth plan is and to learn the strategies that they want you to learn or that you can learn to support them, doing a course together or going to a professional together to learn techniques or kind of whatever you can do to support them in what their kind of birth plan is.
Well, thank you, Karlen. What a neat story to be able to tell. And I love that so many other women are going to get to hear it now. So thank you for being here today.
Thanks so much for having me, Stephanie.
If you loved what you heard today, the very best way to support this podcast and help other moms to find it is to leave a quick review. I read one at the beginning of the episodes, and I would love for yours to be next. And if you're ready for even more pregnancy, birth, and postpartum goodness, come join me in the My Essential Birth course at myessentialbirth.com, where I will hold your hand and walk you through pregnancy and birth step by step so you're totally prepared for a birth you'll love. See you next week.